7,000 years ago. You are standing at the edge of a wheat field in what will one day be southwestern Germany. The field is yours. You planted it. You harvested it. Your grandfather planted one exactly like it, and his grandfather before him. Around you, a dozen longhouses. Smoke from morning fires. Children running between them. This is the world you were born into, settled, structured, permanent. By nightfall, almost everyone you know will be dead. The attackers don't come from far away. They speak the same language. They use the same stone tools. They plant the same grain. They are, in almost every measurable way, exactly like you. And they have come to end your line completely. If you want to live more stories like this, subscribe. I put you inside human prehistory every week. What happened next wasn't a skirmish. It wasn't a raid. It was the systematic elimination of entire male bloodlines across Africa, Europe, and Asia, a process so total, so sustained, that it left a scar in every man alive today. Geneticists call it the Neolithic Y-chromosome bottleneck. What it means, stripped of the clinical language, is this: at some point between 7,000 and 5,000 years ago, the genetic diversity of men on this planet collapsed. Not a little. Not gradually, it fell off a cliff. For every 17 women passing their genes forward, only one man was doing the same. Let that number sit for a moment. 17 to 1. Not because there weren't enough men. The male population wasn't disappearing. Something far stranger was happening. The men who existed were all starting to look the same, genetically speaking. Entire branches of the male family tree were being cut down, not trimmed, erased. The women were fine. Mitochondrial DNA, which passes through the female line, shows no bottleneck at all. The women of this period kept their genetic diversity intact. They moved. They survived. They continued. The men were dying by the clan. Here is why. You are not just a man in this world, you are a member of a patrilineal clan. Your identity, your land, your name, your right to exist in this valley, all of it flows through your father and his father before him. Every man in your village carries roughly the same Y chromosome. From a genetic standpoint, it's as though you all share one father. Your clan is one thread in the human tapestry. When your clan is destroyed, that thread disappears entirely. And across this period, clans were destroying other clans on a scale that had never happened before. Agriculture made it possible. Farming created something hunter-gatherers never had, a fixed location worth killing for. Stored grain. Cleared land. A river bend with good drainage. These weren't things you could pick up and walk away from. They were worth dying for, worth killing for. The pit at Talheim, Germany, tells you exactly what this looked like on the ground. 34 bodies. Thrown in together without ceremony, without grave goods, without any of the care that these people's culture normally gave to the dead. 16 children. 9 adult men. 7 adult women. 2 more adults the bone analysts couldn't determine. Every single one of them shows trauma. The skulls are fractured, from the back. From behind. None of the bones have defensive wounds. Nobody's forearm shows the break that comes from throwing up your arm to stop a blow. Nobody ran toward the attackers. Every single person in that pit was running away. The weapons that killed them were stone adzes, the same tools used by neighboring LBK farming communities. The same culture. The same people. This was not an invasion from outside. This was a neighbor deciding that your land was now their land, and that your children could not be left alive to reclaim it. Here's where it gets strange. Talheim isn't an isolated event. It sits inside a pattern that stretches across the entirety of Central Europe, clustered around the same narrow window of time, the final centuries of the linear pottery culture, around 5000 BCE. Basparn in Austria, at least 67 bodies in a ditch, the young women conspicuously absent. Schöneckillienstatten in Germany, 26 people killed, children among them, their shins systematically shattered either before or just after death. A statement, the researchers who examined those bones said. Not necessity. A statement. Halberstadt adds something darker still. Almost every victim is an adult male. Young, physically capable men. Fractures clustered at the back of the skull, right side, all at the same angle. These men were held. Made to kneel. Executed one by one. Their bodies dumped without a single gesture of burial care. If you want to keep living these moments, hit like, it helps more people find this channel. This is what the bottleneck looks like from the inside. Not a plague sweeping indiscriminately. Not a famine thinning a population evenly. It is clan after clan, lineage after lineage, being cut from the human record in exactly this way, the men killed, the young women absorbed, the children of the victors inheriting the land. Generation after generation. For 2,000 years. 2,000 years is not a number that fits easily in a human mind. Try it this way. The entire span of recorded Western history, from ancient Greece to today, is roughly 2,500 years. The Neolithic clan wars lasted almost as long. And during that entire stretch, somewhere on this continent, men were being killed for the ground they stood on and the Y-chromosome they carried. The clans that won grew. Their particular genetic signature spread across the population. A few successful lineages expanded dramatically, exactly what you'd expect if a small number of dominant patrilineal groups kept accumulating land, women, and generations. The losers vanished completely, not just from history but from biology. You are standing in that wheat field. You know the men on the other side. You have traded with them. Your father traded with their fathers. You know what they want. You know because you know what you would want if the valley on the other side of the ridge had better soil and fewer mouths. The longhouses are burning. Your children are running. The skull fractures will show no defensive wounds because there is nothing to defend against, no shield wall, no formation, no tactical retreat. There is only the field, the fire, and the men you know coming toward you with adzes in their hands. 7,000 years later, a man sitting in a library at Stanford will spend hours reading about a genetic puzzle, a strange collapse in Y-chromosome diversity that nobody could explain. He will eventually realize that the answer isn't in the biology at all. It's in the sociology. It's in the simple, brutal fact that when you kill a clan, you kill every Y-chromosome it carried. Do that enough times, across enough generations, and you reshape the genetics of the entire species. His name is Tianqin Zheng, and he was an undergraduate when he figured it out. What he found in the data is what was left over after the fire went out. A few successful lineages. A catastrophic reduction in everything else. The genetic signature of a world where being a man in the wrong clan, in the wrong valley, at the wrong moment in history, meant the absolute end of your line. The wheat field is still there. The soil in the Neckar River Valley in Baden-Württemberg is still some of the best farmland in Central Europe. The bones in the pit at Talheim have been carefully lifted, labeled, stored in paper bags. 34 people who never saw the next morning, preserved in a drawer, still telling us what the world cost before anyone was writing it down. The men who came after, the ones whose Y-chromosomes survived, built the cities, wrote the laws, made the history we memorized. But the history that made them, the real foundation underneath everything, was paid for in that field, and 1,000 fields like it, in a war that no one named and almost no one survived. If you want to keep living these stories, subscribe. I put you inside human prehistory every week, the discoveries, the mysteries, the moments that made us who we are. The next video is on screen now.